my actual eyesight. Is there the high drive? Deep center! Go! 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 We're out of here! We're out of here! Say ya, playa!
Just like they drew it up in Hollywood, Caladros, the 3-2. Swing and a miss! And the Audubon Green Wave have upset the Kingsway Dragons! And this is it for good! The Audubon Green Wave are back in the Final Four! A dog pile on their side!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to DW Broadcasting's coverage of men's varsity.
From our entire crew, we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one, folks.
To the Woodbury Creek Park here at Woodbury High School. It's going to be a fun Saturday afternoon as we have some late morning, early afternoon football here in the WJFL in a crossover game between the Continental and your Diamond Division, here between the Willingboro Chimeras and the Woodbury Thundering Herd. This is our third of 4 Woodbury home games this year that we have been covering. Again, big thanks to Anthony Browning for having us out here for all of the home games this year. But Willingboro has been on a hot streak lately. They are 4-2 under Kenny Scott, brand new head coach after Stephen Everett left for Burlington Township this past offseason. And Willingboro is a team in transition that has taken that transition in stride. They lost their head coach to Burlington Township. They lost their quarterback, Lamar Best, to St. Joe's Regional up in Montvale, but they've gone 4-2. Now, they've lost their last 2 games, but starting off 4-0 is not an easy feat. They lost to Paul Six and Timber Creek in a 4-point game, but they beat Salem, Camden Eastside, Haddonfield, and Gloucester. 2 of those teams share opponents and fellow opponents with Woodbury. And for the rest of them this year, this is the last Chimera road game of the year. They're home to 0-6 Pleasantville next week, and then Seneca to close out the season on the 24th. And you know what? For somebody that was a wide receiver for the first 2 years of his career, Sean Taylor has been an excellent quarterback for Willingboro this year. He's passed over 50%, and he's got 600 passing yards with 10 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. And not everyone who has converted from wide receiver to quarterback a la Terrell Pryor can say that they were able to pull that off. But heck, I mean, Sean Taylor was able to do it. And for a team, like we said, for a team that lost both their head coach and their starting quarterback, that's a difficult transition to make. And I'm not talking about a quarterback that walked the stage at graduation. I'm talking about somebody that packed their bags and left and transferred to St. Joe's Montvale. Not that was a bad decision for Lamar Best, because he seems to be taking that transition in stride as well from South Jersey to North Jersey. But for Woodbury, we've seen a lot of passing this year that we did not see in years prior from the Thundering Herd. Tim Holmes has attempted 112 passes going into tonight's game and 6 touchdowns with 3 interceptions. But his receiving corps has also helped him out. We have been talking week in, week out about Marquise Taylor and the job that he's done as a receiver for this team. Marquise Taylor, 272 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns, and it's been pretty evenly distributed. 6 receiving touchdowns, 6 passing touchdowns, 3 rushing touchdowns. Tim Holmes hasn't taken it for a keeper, but Woodbury's been pretty evenly distributed. Now, they have taken a step back in recent weeks, but they did take home the formerly Thanksgiving rivalry over Gateway 35-6 in their next matchup since 1978. But we were here for the first 2 home games. They lost in a squeaker to Haddonfield 21-20, where a blocked extra point was the difference maker, and they shut out Salem 25-0. And then when they went on the road for that 3-game road trip, they had a gauntlet of a schedule. They lost by 8 points to Woodstown, and then got shut out by the powerhouse Glassboro Bulldogs with Timmy Breaker over there and the Saab brothers, 34-0. So that Gateway win last week was more of a symbolic, I should say, confidence win, because Gateway is right now at 2-3 in South Jersey Group 1, but also they're in a lower division. And that was a rivalry game that, like we said, has been going on all the way back since 1978 between the crosstown rivals Woodbury and Gateway. But they've got one more home game next week at 11 a.m. here from the Woodbury Creek Park, or the Bowl, as I like to call it here. I guess you could say they share that title with Cherokee. But then they're on the road at Shallot to close out the regular season. And who did we see last night? Shallot. They took a thriller, 28-21 over Gloucester. That was one of the best games that I have seen in a long time for high school football. went down to the wire, went down to the buzzer, the final play. Bolden fumbled it as the freshman. Shalek took over, and that was the end of it. And Shalek scored that game-winning touchdown with 30 seconds left in the game for a 28-21 final. You do not see a lot of games like that in high school football, but guess what? Ocean City and Middle Township shared that title last night as well for the best high school game this side of Jersey. So Woodbury has just wrapped up their senior night introductions. They're going to get all this sorted out. The Chimeras are waiting on the opposite sideline. They are going to get their captains out for the coin toss. And we will be back in just a few minutes with our coin toss, kickoff, national anthem, and more. Not in that order, by the way, as we're here from the Woodbury Creek Park. It is a beautiful October well, not afternoon yet, but October morning here from Woodbury. It's the Chimeras and the Thundering Herd coming up next, right after this.
3 and 4.
3 and 4. Okay. Oh yeah, they beat Boston Catholic. Forgot about them. That game was, I assume you were there?
I was.
Yeah, it was scoreless at the half, right?
Correct.
You do Thanksgiving games?
Yeah, it depends on
Because I could work Thanksgiving games.
that might be Gloucester Castle.
Yes.
Because I did bring Clayton and Pittman last year.
As a great opportunity to this game, our referee, Mr. Cotton, our umpire, Tim Hershey, our linesman, Don Young. You're not doing anything right now? Okay. Huh? Am I good right now? Yeah, you're good. Respect, it was all good to meantime doing a lot of the democratic recognition here. Really was shooting license all groups. So please reach out to our athletic director or one of the NJSIAA to see how it's training is coming to show this from the back. Let's go. 5 over the way pages. Yes, it's good. Why would you say stay? And they're not moving. Somebody needs like a cue to tell them to
Somebody needs to tell them we're about 5 minutes behind already. There we go. There's the Thundering Herd. All right, so both teams are on the field. There will be a live performance of National Anthem, so we will stay on the air. Yeah, pick your poison. Exactly. Yeah, I don't know what direction they're looking in. There's 2 flags you can go off of. So this is Janabi Gonzalez of Woodbury performing our national anthem. All right, Janabi Gonzalez gets us rolling with the national anthem, Woodbury student. And we are ready to go here from the Woodbury Creek Park. It is a beautiful Saturday morning. We are running a little bit behind, but it is 70 degrees and sunny, just a couple faint clouds in the distance. As we begin this crossover matchup here on our second of 2 crossover weeks between the Willingboro Chimeras and the Woodbury Thundering Herd. During the coin toss, Willingboro won the toss. They elected to defer, so Woodbury will receive to start this morning's ball game. Don't forget, at 3 p.m. today, join us from the RCSJ Roadrunner Complex in Sewell, as it is the Brookdale Jersey Blues and the RCSJ Gloucester Roadrunners in men's soccer in a huge NJAC divisional matchup between the Jersey Blues and the Roadrunners at 3 p.m. today. The women's soccer game is at 12 noon. That is being live streamed on the Roadrunner Network at rcroadrunners.com. If you're just joining us here from Woodbury, thought we would have kicked off by now, but it is 11:08 here from the Woodbury Creek Park, as Willingboro will get ready to kick this one away. Kenny Scott and his team, 4-2 on the campaign. They started off the season with 4 straight wins unbroken, and they have now lost back-to-back matchups going into the 7th matchup of the season. They're ready to go, and so are we. Here we go. Squib kick. Out towards the 35. It is booted, and falling on it is Woodbury. They'll hang on to it, and we will begin from the Woodbury 35 as, Shuo Farpilla was on the return there, or a very short return, that is, for the Thundering Herd. So Woodbury coming off of a 35-6 win over Gateway last week in a game that used to be played on Thanksgiving and that now, because of different logistical reasons, has been moved to the crossover weeks of the WJFL campaign, is Holmes with a keeper. Ball was spotted, by the way, at the 27. And he gets a couple of yards on that. That'll be second down for the Herd. Holmes this year, like we said, he's been very impressive for a first-year starter. Attempted 12 passes in his freshman year. He is 58 for 112 with 744 passing yards going into today's contest. Another rush. Woods on the carry. So Holmes coming in with a 51.7 completion rate, also with 162 rushing yards. I mean, hey, he has completed 58 passes and he has rushed the ball 51 times this year. You know, even though his stature doesn't appear like it, you know, at first, he is a very mobile quarterback for who he is. That's caught. And that will be taken in at the 40. That'll be a first down for the Herd. So Ovarpilla again on the catch there. He got us started on the kick return, as this will be straight on the 40. And from the left hash, they've got two receivers on each side. Here we go. Holmes dropping back. Pass is tipped, and it is picked off by Willingboro. Number 3, Christopher Scott, fell on that one as still a scramble for the football. They're going to whistle everything out to make sure everything stays in order. And Christopher Scott, the senior, picks up the interception, his first of the year. And Willingboro immediately picks up a turnover just a minute and 35 seconds into this one.
From the Federal Herd 45 yard line, good starting field position for Willingboro.
You can't blame Tim Holmes too much there. You know, the pass just kind of bounced in and out. Nico Satarian was the intended receiver. Just a little too much on it. Got tipped up, and it's like catching a bouquet at a wedding. You might not be the first one to have it, but if you're the last one, that's what matters. Willingboro starts this drive from the opposing 45 as Kenny Scott and the crew trying to avoid a third straight loss here on this Saturday afternoon in their final road game of the season. Taylor deep for a home run ball, and it's incomplete. Intended for Terrence Knighton, the senior back. And that'll be second down after the incompletion that would have gone for 45 yards if he took it to the house, but a little too much mustard on that one. Sean Taylor taking over for Lamar Best, who threw for over 1,500 passing yards as a freshman. He transferred to St. Joe's Montvale up in North Jersey, a top 20 team ranked in the state. But Taylor, that was his 62nd passing attempt of the season. And he's sitting at 600. He's sitting very even. 600 passing yards, 10 TDs, and 5 interceptions. A late hit there. But Willingboro gets the rush.
The time number 1 is Solomon. That's Willingboro first down.
Now bring that beat back.
Taylor finds no one but himself. And this will be stopped at the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard, and that'll be second down. Willingboro started off the season incredibly strong with a 35-0 win over the Salem Rams, which, I mean, Salem was such a powerful program, you know, 5-10 years ago. I mean, for crying out loud, they produced Jonathan Taylor. And you know, they had 2 wins in 2022. I think they dropped that to 2 or 3 in last season. They've gone through their 3rd head coach in 3 seasons, and now they're at an 0-7 record. And it's a rebuilding program down there in Salem County, but, you know, after Jonathan Taylor left, it just seems like they haven't had the same life. We had whistles on the snap and laundry on the snap. I think this is going to be a false start. It'll be an offsides. I apologize. So that'll be against Woodbury, and then they'll bring up second and mid-range. They'll bring it to about the 29. That'll be second down and mid-range for the Chimeras. But, I mean, the first two teams that they beat are currently winless. Camden Eastside plays Winslow today, one of the top 10 teams in the state again. And both of their first two opponents of the season rush up the middle by 33. So they won over Salem and Camden Eastside and then took care of Haddonfield by one score, Gloucester by 2 scores, 21-10. Carry goes to Mackay Cottle, who has picked up 531 rushing yards going into today's contest. 4 touchdowns. 5 career touchdowns in his career as a Chimera, 4 as a rusher, 1 as a receiver. And 2 of those touchdowns came in their 31-24 win over Haddonfield just a few weeks ago. Taylor passes over the middle, passes through traffic. It's caught, and he whizzes his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Willingboro. That is a touchdown by James Pemberton. We are not in Pemberton. The Chimeras are first on the board at 6-0. I mean, this is a game that could go either way, with Willingboro and Woodbury not having any prior experience against, I should say, any prior history against each other dating back to 2010. This is a left-handed PAT, or left-footed PAT, from number 8, James Pemberton, as he is responsible for all 7 points in that drive, getting into the end zone and splitting it through the uprights. We will be right back as it's 7-0 Chimeras midway through the first.
.7:35 remaining in the opening quarter here, with your score, Willingboro 7, Woodbury 0.
Yeah, once we're Willingboro getting ready to kick off. James Pemberton contributed all 7 points in that drive, a touchdown and the PAT. Another squib is bobbled at the 30. It's picked up by Woodbury, who finds some room, and the one tackler he had in his way is the one who brings him down at the 42. That was returned by number 18, Nico Jimenez, the sophomore. And Woodbury again with decent field position to start this drive. However, that interception by Tim Holmes, his 4th of the year, his first tonight, ended up giving Willingboro the break that they needed to kind of waltz their way into the end zone in this first drive. But plenty of time left. Plenty of time left in this first quarter as easy touchdown from the Chimeras gets us underway. Tom McGurk over there on the sideline, reporting for the Courier Post. Holmes steps out from the pocket. It is a slicker pass that is caught by Sewell Varpillis. That's a first down for Woodbury. It's kind of a touch pass there from Tim Holmes. It didn't have too much power on it, but he had the distance. It was a high arcing pass, and it ended up working out the way that they needed to. And they get on the other side of the 50 for the first time tonight. Handoff of the middle gets about 4 yards. It'll land him at the 25. Holmes immediately fires it. And that will be, looks like a loss. And he's going to bring him right back to where they started on the pass to Young. Third down and 9. Look at that Willingboro band. We saw them once last year with Lamar Best. They beat Delran 57-19, and I just remember they were one of the most enthusiastic bands we had ever seen. Holmes rolling out of the pocket to the right. He will wrestle his way out of bounds. Tackle was almost made by Willingboro's 52, Joshua Amachukwu. And that is a Woodbury first down. I didn't think they would have it, but at the 11th hour, they pull it off. And they bring us into the red zone at the 17th. So Willingboro looking to defend the red zone. And the Chimeras looking to thwart this one, but Woodbury trying to get on the board here early in the first. It is a one-hander that is incomplete with heavy coverage. As that one was intended, I believe, for number 6, Samar Wilson, the senior. It's either number 6 or number 9. His jersey is really scrunched up around. No, it's not. It's not Dean Woods because his number 9 jersey is unobscured, if you will. Speaking of Woods, he takes the handoff. This will again go to the line of scrimmage. It'll be third down and 11 after a loss of 1. Third and 11 from the 19. 18, 19, 220, 221, whatever it takes. Third and long as Holmes rolls out to the left. He's going to look for his man. He's not going to look for anybody as he's going to take it himself and gets pushed out of bounds. Inside the 15, it won't be enough for a first down, but it'll be enough to maybe make Coach Reagan think about keeping the offense on the field. I mean, this team doesn't really go for field goals, so... You know, it was funny, last night, I had to second-guess myself at Shalleck-Gloucester because their kicker, Hunter Dragata, attempted a 56-yard field goal. Now, it didn't go by any means. The wind wasn't helping. But they will try a field goal. So they're going to make me eat my words here. Fabian Gonzalez, the senior. This will be up and good. And Fabian Gonzalez gets it in. And Fabian Gonzalez hits it from 40 yards, and it's 7-3. I mean, a 40-yard field goal is relatively routine at any other level besides South Jersey Group 1, but I don't know if our mics picked it up. I don't know if people heard the surprise in the public address announcer's voice when they decided they were going for a field goal.
That was from 41.
So Gonzalez, the senior, attempts it and makes it. And it's 7-3. We're going to stay on the air. 4:57 left in the first. This broadcast is brought to you by our good friends over at Garden State Pet Center. Should have been, yeah.
16, 6, 7 yards.
Yeah, but that's what the kicker set up, where the holder was at the 25.
Yards more, so it's only 30 something.
I guess, yeah, if you're talking high school stuff, yeah.
Well, it's 10. What? No. It's still perfect.
We had somebody attempt a 56-yarder last night with Hunter Pagano. 7-3. Here comes the kick from Gonzalez, and this is a long way back to the goal line. Taken in by the Chimeras. He finds some room, except a wall of her defenders will take care of this one, and a late flag comes in. I think there might have been some extracurriculars on that play as the return by Knighton. Yeah, so math is not my specialty. That's what we learned today. We're gonna have a dead ball on sportsmanlike call. Saw a handful of those last night. So you heard it there. An unsportsmanlike call against Willingboro will be a half the distance penalty, and they'll start from the 10. This is reminding me very much of the Haddon Township Gateway game from August of last year, where the game went into the third quarter in a 5-0 score because Gateway had a short field goal and picked up a safety. Although we will not have a safety on this drive, as that goes back to the 25 as they pick up 15 yards on the carry. Looks like Scott was on the carry. That'll be an easy Chimeras first down. And by the way, that was Gonzalez's first career attempted and completed field goal. He has only attempted extra points throughout the season. That was his first attempt at a three-pointer. And we got flags before the snap. Looks like a false start, and it will be a false start. Don't forget, at 3 o'clock today, we travel down to Sewell, right up the road, or right down the road, we should say, for a NJSIAA men's soccer matchup between the Brookdale Jersey Blues and the RCSJ Roadrunners. 3 p.m. for men's soccer at the Sewell Complex. We've got a busy slate ahead. So the false start makes it 1st and 15 from the 19. The run by Scott is not forgotten, but definitely negated a little bit. Handoff ends up getting swallowed up by the Herd defense. Don't forget, for the Woodbury fans at home, we will be back in action on Saturday, October 19th, for their final home game of the season between the Pennsgrove Red Devils and the Woodbury Thundering Herd. Again, big thanks to Anthony Browning for the hospitality and the amenities here over at Woodbury. It's an excellent place to be. There's not many places where we can back our car directly in front of the press box and load our equipment in about 15 seconds. And hopefully we get to work with Woodbury more in the future. 3:50 and counting in the first quarter. 2 receivers on each side. Sending Scott in motion. Pass over the middle is caught, but that will still be well short of the first down. He's taken in by number 2, Terrence Knight. It'll be third down. We've got more whistles, and we are going to have a timeout for Woodbury. So the Herd earned their first timeout of the night, and we'll be right back after this. We're back here from Woodbury. 3:20 left in the first quarter. Willingboro has it on 3rd and 12 from their own 22. Sending Scott in motion, dropping back, and he gets tugged at the jersey, and that'll be a sack. Woodbury picks it up on a big 3rd and long. So that will be a 4th down and very long for Willingboro. This is going to set up 4th and about 20-ish. And it looks like they're going to bring Taylor back to return for the Herd. And Pemberton will punt. Some out-of-town scores, by the way. Woodstown leads Haddon Heights 10-0 early in the second. Pleasantville, the 0-6 Pleasantville Greyhounds, they lead Oakcrest 14-13 at the half. This is a high bouncing punt that gets taken in inside the 45. Taylor's going to return. He's going to find some room, and he takes himself out of contention around the 30. And a very good return for Woodbury as they look to reclaim the lead, or I guess claim the lead for the first time tonight. Here with 2 minutes and a chunk of change left in the first quarter. Not too much else going on right now in terms of Saturday games. It's mostly Woodstown, Haddon Heights, and Pleasantville, Oakcrest. Pretty much everybody played on Friday last night, so. Woodbury on their first play of the drive goes to Woods. He will get tackled in the back. And the ball came out, but that was after the whistle. That'll be 2nd down. Yeah, I don't have anything else on my out-of-town scoreboard, so we will have to go through our prior scores from last night at some point. As we've had a busy weekend here at DWB. If you remember, the Boot went back to Cherry Hill East for the first time since 2012 on Thursday, and a 28-7 win that keeps Cherry Hill East unbeaten at 6-0 for the first time in over 20 years. 2nd and 11 after the 1-yard loss by Woods. There we go. Holmes is not going to find a man in time. There is a flag, but it is a sack for the Chimeras. As a host of everybody was in on that, including Jalen Johnson, number 50, the nose tackle. And that will be an offensive penalty in addition. It's an offensive hold. In addition to the sack, which will not make things any prettier. Penalty is declined. So this is going to bring them back to the opposing 45. Third and 22. Caught by Wood. Gets taken out at the 35. That will get them within 12 yards, it looks like, of a first down. But it will still be fourth and decently long. As we near the end of the first quarter, still have 1:10 left, so they'll get a couple more plays off, and with Woods running out of bounds, that certainly helps a little bit. I think there was a little confusion over whether they were going to bring out the punt team or not. They will not. Holmes and crew will stay on the field. Holmes dropping back, still having to rush out of the pocket, and he's got 3 Willingboro Chimeras all over him, and on 4th and long, they end up taking care of business. Joshua Amachukwu, along with number 6, Mickey Moore, and number 53, Jordan Richardson Wright, pick up a triple threat there, and that will bring Willingboro's start of the drive to the 50. Let's go over some scores from this past weekend. There were a host of games on Thursday and Friday. We'll start with Thursday's games first. Cherokee shut out Williamstown 27-0, and Atlantic City took care of Eastern by 8 points, 35-27. St. Augustine shut out Lenape 28-0. Rancocas Valley upset Washington Township in a big way, 27-0. Pittman on their senior night took care of Maple Shade in a 35-0 shutout, and Shawnee came from behind to beat Pennsauken on the road 35-27. We'll bring the rest to you after this play. 1st and 10, right on midfield from the 50. Handoff to Scott. He tucks to the left and finds some room, shedding off a couple of tacklers, and finally the whistles blow it around the 35. An easy 15-yard pickup for Christopher Scott, and that'll be first down. So resuming those Thursday scores, Mainland shut out Egg Harbor Township 42-0. Glassboro beat Cinnaminson 40-10. Cherry Hill East beat Cherry Hill Western 28-7. Burlington City shut out Lawrence 20-0. Dropping back. Taylor lets it fly. It's deep and a little too much mustard on it. Intended for Knighton. And instead, he gets dethroned. That'll be second down after the incompletion. Seneca beat Hamilton 41-7 on Thursday. Delran beat Pennsgrove 38-8. Pikestown beat West Windsor South 76-0. Moorestown beat Robbinsville in a crossover game 36-16. And not too much from the South Jersey side otherwise from that Thursday slate. So we'll update you with Friday's scores after this play. A long incompletion to Terrence Knighton sets us up on 2nd and 10 from the 34 rather. Scott piles through for a decent gain. We do have a flag on the play. The referees and the officials meeting at the line of scrimmage to figure this all out. This is a unsportsmanlike. I don't know what that was. Well, I'm not sure. Hold on here. Just keeping an eye on the Whitecap there, seeing what's going on. So whatever it is, it's so it looks like it was an unsportsmanlike penalty against Willingboro that knocks them back to the 47. Yeah, I was just a little confused on the hand signals there because he went this way instead of, you know, offense or defense. It is 3rd and a country mile. Could be worse though. We saw a 3rd and 35 earlier this year with Florence and Cinnaminson. That was the first ever 3rd down punt that I think I've ever seen. Scott moves over. It's an empty backfield with 5 wide receivers. He moves over, ball comes out, Willingboro falls on it, and they'll hang on to it. But it will be 4th down and long. Number 69, Elijah Tolliver, fell on it, and it will be 4th and even longer as it goes back to the 44. That will end the first quarter. As they are back at their own 44, it is a long way. It is 4th and 30. We'll be right back after this. So yeah, if it's under a minute, I forgot. Put 2 zeros because it has to be 4 digits either way, whether it's 0033 or what. All right, you can bring it around. So you're watching coverage of Dan Wilkins Broadcasting here on JWB. I'm Dan Wilkins here with Cole McNeil on the production spot here in this beautiful Saturday, almost afternoon, from Woodbury High School. Willingboro is on 4th and 30. Their first down marker is at the 24. They are back at their own 44, and this will be a long punt. We'll see if this punt even goes to the first down marker. It will not. It will land out where their drive started, and Woodbury will take over at their own 34 as that one slices out of bounds. So yes, let's knock out that Friday slate of scores. Riverside beat Bordentown on senior night 36-14. Ocean City beat Middle Township in a thriller. The final touchdown came down to the final 7 seconds of the game. Final score, Ocean City 38, Middle Township 34. Triton beat Highland for the first time since 2008, 13-12. Deptford finally with their second win of the season after 5 straight losses. They beat Cumberland 14-10. Kip Cooper Norcross traveled down all the way to the Garden State Parkway to Wildwood and beat them 14-6. And in their rivalry night between Kingsway and Clearview, Kingsway was dominant in a 62-0 win. Big hits to number 12. Dale Thomas, the sophomore. Yeah, I mean, I looked at that Kingsway Clearview score, and I was blown away. It was 34-0 after the first quarter. It was 48-0 at the half, and then Kingsway scored another 14 to make it 62-0, which ended up being the final score. I mean, that game, hold on here, we've got a flag and an incompletion. We got flags flying everywhere, and I think we know what this is. And, yep, it is going to be... Oh, never mind. I was going to... Thought we had a face mask there. So they'll get called for a hold, so I'll have to eat my words on that one. Kenny Scott is out, and talk to the officials.
Well, one of the day for a football game, on a great day at our senior day, some coach can thank all the seniors.
All right, so that seems to be cleared up.
Football.
Allentown beat Ewing 42-13. Absegami beat Bridgeton 18-6. Audubon picked up their second win of the year, beating Collingswood 7-0. St. Joe's Hamilton took care of ACIT in a one-score game 17-12. And Camden beat Timber Creek 18-7. New Egypt in a crossover game in the Shore Conference beat WJFL opponent Buna 20-7. Shalleck beat Gloucester 28-21 in last night's DWB feature game. Clayton beat Sterling 33-7. Holy Cross Prep beat Bishop Eustace 43-8. Notre Dame beat Paul Sixth on the road 27-19. And Gateway shut out Gloucester Catholic 16-0. Here comes a pass to the left side. Caught to Jabron Solomon. I apologize, not Jabron Solomon, Jason Solomon. Jabron Solomon is over at New Haven, Division II football over there. Of course, that is in part because of Woodbury's state championship from 2022. The first ever football state championship season in the NJSIAA. Here comes a liner pass that does not get picked up by anyone. And that'll be a long way on 4th and 22. And Holmes and crew will step aside. And the punt crew will take the field. West Deptford beat Salem handily 58-19. Holy Spirit shut out Delphi 35-0. And that is it for our South Jersey slate. So I still really couldn't believe that 62-0 score. I don't think I've ever seen a game that has a running clock in the first quarter. But Kingsway Clearview did it. There comes the punt. Oh, that ball is muffed, and Willingboro is going to pick it up anyway. Christopher Scott ended up having the punt bounce off of his chest, and a Willingboro player picked it up.
See, you're the same on me than the official that was in the details last night was live.
Can't have a 1 o'clock in the first game.
Because we
Both coaches agreed to it. Just I'm really sorry.
Tails and one out there in the deal.
The official that was with us in the booth last night for Shalleck Gloucester was like, oh, that's a running clock in the first quarter. So, I don't know.
Sitting on the arm.
Guys, quit. Here, most of all seniors. They're playing like a JV team. Look at all three of the schools, you'll see they've been going at us about every game.
1st and 10 for Willingboro. Handoff to Scott. Finds some room to the right side. That'll be a first down, and then some. Gets it to the 37. Crosses across the 50 and well into, decently into Woodbury territory. That'll be first down. Ball is spotted at the 40 for the Chimeras. They're going to try to extend this lead. They pounced first on a deep touchdown to James Pemberton outside of the red zone. He kicked his own extra point, and then Woodbury got a 35-yard field goal. As this one is taken in, we've got a flag from the left side and a host of Woodbury in on that one. Samar Wilson and number 10, Orlando Concepcion. going to be against the Chimeras.
Well, the receiver.
An eligible man downfield. Or ineligible receiver, I should say. So, we've seen a couple of those penalties this year. Not as much as what we have in the NFL, because I feel like every Eagles game I've watched this year, there's been 3 or 4 ineligible man downfield calls. Willingboro now on 1st and 15 from the 45. Scott had the football there, and he gets a couple of those yards back, and we have more laundry on the field. There was a flag that came in from the right side towards the Willingboro side. Unsportsmanlike on Woodbury. Not the first time they've been hit with that tonight. Not sure what it was. I didn't see anything out of the ordinary. So Willingboro got hit with an ineligible receiver, and Woodbury gets hit with a unsportsmanlike call. So now things are starting to level out here for the Chimeras. They get an automatic first down from the 28. So on the doorstep of the red zone, just need a couple more positive plays and they'll be there. Handoff to Scott. Scott, again, still up, now gets the whistles blown for about a 7-yard gain. That'll be second down and mid-range. So the gain is closer to 6.
Second down, upcoming here for
Second and mid-range for Taylor and friends, and we've got another offsides call. So this should give them a first down because they're within 5 yards and they will. So first down Chimeras. This game has somewhat turned into a flag fest here in the second quarter. We ran pretty smoothly in the first, and now things are just starting to break down a little bit. A couple of unsportsmanlike calls, a couple of, this, that, and the others. As the handoff went to number 33, Mackay Cottle, who, as we said, came into this matchup with over 500 rushing yards on the campaign. Gets a gain of 2-ish. And it's second down and 8. So Woodbury's backing themselves up here. I would say they really haven't done themselves any favors. Willingboro actually got a positive gain on their punt return because the ball bounced off of Scott's chest and moved forward. Wow, good crossover and a breakaway from Taylor. Somehow we got out of that. I thought he was going down, but he escapes to the far sideline and gains a couple of yards out of that. That'll be third down and mid-range. Don't forget, next week on DWB, we have a triple header on the way. On Thursday, October 17th, we go back to Pennsauken for a night game between the Cherry Hill West Lions and the Pennsauken Indians. Cherry Hill West plays on a Thursday for the second week in a row. And then on Friday, October 18th, it's a huge matchup between the Washington Township Minutemen and the Kingsway Dragons. That's a 7 o'clock start from Woolwich, rather. Mullica Hill is Clearview territory. There's a handoff again to Cottle. That'll be fourth down. It would make sense to bring out chip shot field goal here to go up by 7 midway through the second quarter, but do they have the confidence in James Pemberton to bring it out? I mean, they've got 4th and 7. I mean, if you keep the offense on the field and you don't get it, then at least you put Woodbury in a less than ideal field position to start this next drive. And they will keep the offense on the field. 4th and about 7 from the the 13-yard line. Taylor drops back. He throws from the pocket to the corner of the end zone, just a little too much on it. Intended for Brandon Cox, and that will be an incompletion to turn the ball over and give Woodbury the possession from inside their own 15. And they'll start the drive with 6 minutes and 5 seconds left at the 13. I feel like that's a win-win situation for Willingboro. I mean, just right now, I mean, hindsight is 20/20. If Woodbury drives down the field and scores, then it won't be such. But at the moment, it's looking good for Willingboro. You know, you didn't get the touchdown, you didn't put any points up on the board, but you put them in a bad field position. Nobody wants to be 1st and 10 from their own 13. Holmes from the shotgun throws it to Woods on the flat, picks it up. He is breaking away. How about this? Did he just do that? Will he do it? He will go all the way. And as far as I can see, no flags. He picked that one up for 87 yards. The train horn is about to blow. And yeah, no flags. That's good. And Woodbury
just like
will take a 9-7 lead.
9-7 lead.
This will be another PAT attempt by Fabian Gonzalez, who kicked the 35-yarder earlier. It's up away, and it is no good. Just a little bit wide, and it will remain a 9-7 game as, how about that for number 9? Kadeem Woods Jr. goes 87 yards, took the pass on the flat, and took it for what was just his 21st career reception and his 2nd career touchdown. That is something he'll remember for a long time, as with 5:51 left in the first half, we've got a 9-7 Woodbury lead. We'll be right back. Broad Street, one of the most popular downtown districts in South Jersey, just about 1,000 feet away from the Woodbury Creek Park and the Woodbury High School Stadium. The Woodbury downtown is one of the more picturesque in South Jersey, right up there with Vineland, Pittman, Collingswood, Haddonfield, and a few others on the tip of my tongue, but this one is sent away by Gonzalez. This one is going deep back to the 5. Scott has it and gets taken below the waist. He'll get tackled inside the 20. And Willingboro with, again, a less than ideal field position. Somebody will have to clip that and post that on Instagram. Me saying, oh, Woodbury doesn't want to be on 1st and 10 for their own 13. And then How about that? First play, Kadeem Woods goes 87 yards. Just a few weeks ago, Gavin Prendergast of Cinnaminson set the DWB record for the longest reception, which was 91 yards. He took the ball from his own 7 and took the ball all the way up to the 2-yard line. He did not score, but Cinnaminson did eventually score on that drive. That was a 28-0 win over Florence back on October the 4th. So here we go, 9-7 Woodbury over Willingboro, the battle of the W's, and handoff up the middle to the Chimeras. Gets a couple of yards there, that'll bring him up to the 24. Second down and mid-range for the Chimeras. This broadcast is brought to you by our good friends over at Vincent's Lawn Care. No matter what time of year, spring, summer, fall, or winter, it is never a bad time to get your lawn and your plants in order. Call Vincent's Lawn Care today at 609-413-0403 for a quote. That one trailed off to the right side. It'll be third down. This one's still short by a yard or two. And also, if you are a small business owner interested in advertising on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, all commercials on DWB are filmed, edited, recorded, and produced by myself and my wonderful crew. All funds for advertising go towards my college expenses, travel costs for doing long-distance games, and equipment upgrades as well. Any contributions are incredibly appreciated, but our business email is thedanwilkinsshow@gmail.com. We got a flag coming in from the back. But any advertising inquiry should go to thedanwilkinsshow@gmail.com. That email is in the description of this YouTube video. We are going to have a face mask on Woodbury. They've been hammered with the penalties tonight. The unsportsmanlikes, the personal fouls. So that will be a first down for Willingboro as they will knock this one back a decent way. They was respotted at the 41. That's a big break for Willingboro. You know, they've been needing to drive down the field and get into the end zone before the end of the half. And it'll certainly help. And it would certainly help if that face mask penalty ends up being a benefactor. You know, 15 yards is always... 15 yards is better than no yards. We'll say that. 1st and 10 for Taylor and friends. High snap. Hands it off to the right side for Cottle. Actually, never mind. He faked this all out and takes it himself. And Taylor with a keeper. And it will get them a few yards, right around the 45. But yeah, like we were saying, this second quarter has just become something of a flag fest. And a decent chunk of it is personal fouls and unsportsmanlike calls. You know, we've seen your false start here, your ineligible receiver down there, but I mean, we have seen maybe at least 3 unsportsmanlike calls tonight. So, it might not be the end of it either. It's not that it's an unsportsmanlike conduct call because the game is getting chippy. There's really no signs of that. It's just people getting in their own heads. Speaking of getting in, he is getting through. Just kind of waltzes his way up to the 20. And a huge gain to get them not only across the 50, but a gain of 35 plus.
Time starts to wind down here.
They have, like we said, they are down to now 3 minutes and a half. They'll play up tempo. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Handoff to Cottle.
Jump ball. 6 yards. Second down. 4 upcoming. Ball sits in the Woodbury 15-yard line.
Second and 4 from the 15. Cottle immediately finds room. He is going to dive forward inside the 5. That'll be another first down for Willingboro.
That going number 10, we're only going to set to go. But that's going to bring up first and goal here. First down, first and goal, and we're going to knock it on the board here. Down by 2.
Woodbury got on the board with a 35-yard field goal. They added an 87-yard touchdown from Kadeem Woods to give them this 9-7 lead. The PAT was blocked, or missed, I should say. And this will not miss. Touchdown, Willingboro. Mackay Cottle, who has been the X factor in this drive, caps it off with a touchdown from inside the 5. And for the second time today, Willingboro will reclaim the lead, and it is 13-9. And PAT attempt from Pemberton would make it 14. And we saw a fake PAT attempt last night from Shalleck that was unsuccessful. But they made it up, and we've got flags before the kick. Might have some movement here, and it will be an offsides call on Woodbury, so that'll move them up a little further. If you're Willingboro, now that you're even closer to the goal line, do you just go for 2 here? And I think that's what they're going to do. Taylor's coming out, and Pemberton is coming off. I think after the offsides, they're going to go for 2. It's a risky move, but I think it's something that in this stage of the game, it's worth it. And yeah, they're going to go for 2. So Taylor right under center. Might try to just hand this off, and he will. He will dive. I think he's in there. Mickey Moore. And Mickey Moore with a magical run into the end zone for a 2-point conversion. And Willingboro takes the gamble after an offsides call on the herd, and they are able to execute. We have 1 minute and 42 seconds left in the first half. It is 15-9. Chimeras reclaim the lead. We'll be right back. Here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, we are watching coverage, and you are watching coverage of the Willingboro Chimeras, and the Woodbury Thundering Herd is another squib kick from James Pemberton, rolls out to the 30. Here comes Jason Solomon. He's got room. He trips himself up, and he is down at the 40. And Woodbury with a big return to start off this drive.
Excellent field position here with 135 remaining in the half.
That's exactly what they needed. You're down by 6, and they needed a good field position on the return. And Pemberton has only pulled out squib kicks tonight, and that might be all he has in the arsenal. But Woodbury has had some exceptional field positions on all of their drives tonight. Taylor finds some room on the completion. He's going to find the end zone. 40 yards. The train horn will commence. And the Herd are back on the board on just their first play of the drive.
That's a 4-yard gain with Taylor. On top of an 83.
And that will make it 15 all. Feels like we're in a tennis match. It's 15 all.
Great job of blocking.
If it's a shutout, do we say it's 15 low? I don't know, but gotta get touchdown. Bless you. And we'll see if Gonzalez will make the PAT. He is 1 for 2. Missed his last, and it is up, away, and good. That one is deep into the trees of Gloucester County, and we have an exciting matchup here in Woodbury, brewing here late in the second quarter. 16-15, Woodbury over Willingboro. We will be right back after this.
Doubleheader reached first on an error in the first at-bat of game 2. This one's lined into center field. Slider going over. He dives. Did he make the catch? Yes, he did. Ryan Slider makes the catch. Not on a slide, but instead on a dive. 2 away.
Here for the home of the Thundering Herd at Woodbury Creek Park. A 40-yard touchdown on the first play from scrimmage in that Woodbury drive gives them a touchdown for Marquise Taylor, and that will be a muffed return, and it will be a touchback. Right. And that's one of the things for our viewers at home that can be a little bit different from the different levels of football that we're used to. We still get tripped up on them occasionally. It was a muff that didn't matter. So the touchback applies there. Correct. That's what we like about being next to the officials up here in the press box. You know, even if we're not perfect, they set the record straight. And you know, like just how the NFL has Gene Strator, the rules analyst. Just a little explainer for those at home. Taylor drops back. He now fights through the middle and doesn't get too much on that one. And we are going to have whistles blowing here. Willingboro will burn a timeout. Yeah. 1:15 remaining in the first half. This broadcast is brought to you by Harper Driving School. Over 95% of students who take their New Jersey State driving test with Harper pass on the first attempt. If you like those odds, you can book an appointment today at Suite E of the Total Turf Complex in Pittman, right off of Lambs Road. Like we said, we do have a Venmo at DW Broadcasting. No hyphens, no spaces. It is not required, but it is incredibly appreciated, as all of these broadcasts are free to watch. And contributions like those from our wonderful viewers and fans and contributors are the reason why we keep the lights on here at DWB. And we're able to make these equipment upgrades and travel to all these wonderful places that we cover. South Jersey High School athletics, especially with gas prices not getting too much better these days. As Taylor finds some room to the left. He is past the line of scrimmage, and he will dance out, and a late flag comes in at the 30. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that we can all figure out what this is going to be. I think it's going to be on Woodbury. They've been hit hard with the personal foul penalties. I mean, they have just been getting just hammered with these penalties. I think he just said the homecoming theme was the Wizard of Oz. That's interesting. I don't know if I ever had a homecoming where the theme was a movie. The Wizard of Oz is an interesting one though, because I would have definitely dressed up as the Tin Man. I would have done that, 100%. First and 10 for the Chimeras after a personal foul against Woodbury. Finds some room from the shotgun. It is caught by Cox. Huge hit. And he's able to take that one down, number 3. That being Elijah Young. And that'll be another first down for Willingboro. But they stop it before it can get any worse for the Herd, as we're within a minute in the first half. Cut out to the right. It's caught. Going for the tackle and getting roughed out of bounds. Taylor on the tackle, Harper on the reception for the Chimeras. This will be 2nd and 2 or 3-ish. We've got 36.8 is the official word on the clock. Here in the second quarter, we've got 24 more minutes of WJFL football coming up after this 15-minute break. And the Chimeras are looking to retake the lead, as this has been a topsy-turvy game. We have had a good week of football already. Maybe it's the Jersey Sports Zone effect. One of their camera guys is over there on the far sideline. Maybe they're making the good game happen for us. Taylor lets it fly. It's got some distance, and a little too much distance on it, intended for number 2, Terrence Knighton. And it is now 3rd and 2. Third and short. That's going to be a sack. A big hit from number 1, Jason Solomon. And that is an exclamation point on a kind of a faltering drive for Willingboro, and that will set up 4th and long. Ball will be spotted at the 35. A timeout was called by Woodbury. They burn their, by Willingboro. They burn their 2nd of the half. And as we've got an exciting game here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, it is a fun night, a fun afternoon here from Woodbury High. But I like being able to cover these games on these Saturday mornings and Saturday afternoons. You know, the impressions and the culture around those Saturday morning games, they certainly feel a lot different. You know, the Friday Night Lights brings you the excitement, the raw action, and you still get that raw action, but, you know, it's a little bit calmer. You know, the people here are just drinking coffee in the morning, they're having fun, and it's a little bit more laid back, and I like that. Willingboro certainly not laid back on their end, however, as they are at 4th and 11 with 22 seconds and counting. Taylor jumps off the pass to Scott. This is going to be diving forward. It'll be short of a first and a turnover on downs with 16 seconds left. That's big for the Herd. They've been able to capitalize on big plays this afternoon. And they are able to execute when it matters for a 4th and 11.
Probably turned out one of the first time here that they always burn and they just scored points on it. Okay.
Kadeem Woods, 87-yard touchdown for Woodbury's last score. I apologize. That was before, but after that with a 40-yard play. Here comes a nice pass to the right side. It is incomplete, intended for Young, broken up and covered by Terrence Knighton. They'll have 11 seconds on the clock. But yeah, I mean, they have run very similar plays with very similar results. Yeah, I thought that was Woods, number 9, that had the 87-yard one. I'm not sure, but we'll clear that up at the break. We've got 11 seconds left. They're going to just run this to the left. Woods on the carry. Whistles are going to fly here. And they're going to break this one up with 1 second and no seconds. That will end the first half. Kind of an anticlimactic end of the first half, but a thrilling first 24 minutes nonetheless, as Woodbury and Willingboro trade scores throughout. And it is 16-15 in favor of the Thundering. It's 16-15 in favor of the Thundering Herd. We'll be right back after this.
In life, the road ahead is full of possibilities, but to navigate it safely, you need the right skills. Harper Driving School is the premier driving school serving Gloucester, Salem, and Camden counties. With experienced instructors, many of whom are teachers in local schools, we are dedicated to your success and will help you master the road with confidence. With an over 95% success rate of students passing their road test on their first try, you know your student will be in good hands while embarking on a huge step of their young adult lives, all while avoiding the lines at the DMV and getting insurance discounts.
We chose Harper, and so should you.
Garden State Pet Center is an independently owned full-service pet store. Our specialty is promoting companionship between people and animals by providing the healthiest product choices available, including all-natural foods, supplements that support and relieve health issues, and innovative products for pet parents. Our goal is to provide our customers with a relaxing environment, and while we're not striving to be the biggest store on the East Coast, we're striving to be the best. No other pet store will make you feel at home like we do. At Garden State Pet Center, we view pets as members of the family. We don't believe in fast, high-pressure sales, but instead matching up the right pet with the right owners, as you are making a lifelong commitment. Together with our team members, we would like your visit to our store to be both enjoyable and educational. Simply drop in and take a look around. View the birds, reptiles, small animals, toys, food, cages, and miscellaneous items. Learn of the services we have to offer and decide for yourself if this is the store you'd like to call your home away from home.
Victor Santucci, owner of Garden State Pet Center. Visit us today at 226 South Whitehorse Pike in Audubon, New Jersey. We're open 7 days a week for all of your pets' needs.
Two minutes remaining. 4 fouls on St. Joe's. One more and it's a bonus, which would greatly help Gloucester Catholic. The moving graveyard! It's a one-point game just like that! This place is going nuts! And now a drive to the basket by Spross. He lays it up and lays it in! St. Joe's has 2 timeouts remaining. Gloucester Catholic still has 3. Here we go. Mascaro pulls up. He goes to 3! 6 points! Jack Mascaro has tied the game with 90 seconds remaining. How will the Wildcats respond with a miss?
1-0 Red Bank. Now here is Al D'Elia. The man they used to call Big Al has now slimmed down, and he still hits dingers. He went viral in 2018 for his catchphrase during the Little League World Series when he was introduced by the ESPN camera crews and was given his standard introduction. He said, "Hi, my name's Big Al, and I hit dingers." And that sentiment still holds true today. He had his first career high school home run versus Rumson Fairhaven in their opening game of the campaign last week. There's a swing and a miss, 0-2. But D'Elia, kind of a folk hero for baseball players who just want to hit the ball far and have fun while doing it. the poster child, now is the poster big fella. Fly ball right center field. This is going to be a sac fly. Taken in by Terranova, and Big Al might not hit dingers, but he certainly drives in runs. It's 2-0.
Launches one foul. See, Mostero's doing us a service here. Or excuse me, D'Alessandro. D'Alessandro is doing us a service here. He's letting us have this conversation by having a long at-bat. But a lot of people are still caught up in the D1 or bust mentality. Listen to this crowd. Listen to this crowd. We'll talk about that later. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Clapping it up here for the Roadrunners. 2-2. Here's a fly ball out towards center field. This one's going back, and this one is gone! 3-run homer! D'Alessandro! And it's a 1-run game at the crack of the bat. 5-4. 3-run shot to center field. Trailing towards the right center, and the cleanup man does exactly what the position orders, cleaning up. And he does it incredibly well with a 5-4 game. He battles for 11 pitches and makes
Excuse me, Goldberg is a shortstop tonight, but he had a 400 average in 2023 as a junior. A homer in each of his sophomore and junior campaigns, 331 career mark and a 430 career slugging percentage. And speaking of home runs, there's a fly ball to left, and it's gone! Devin Goldberg answers on opening day with a first pitch rocket to left, and it's 1-0 Bridgewater. We were just talking about the long ball, and he stomps on the plate, mobbed at home, and Goldberg, the leadoff man, with a swing of gold. It's 1-0.
He's donning the number 34 and the shortstop for this one. First pitch. There's a line drive into center field. That one is going to drop, and it's going to go to the outfield wall. 1 run will score. Spence is going to make a huge arc around third. She will score to make it 3-0. And here comes the runner to score. It's an inside the park home run for Ella Hayes to make it a 4-0 game. A 3-run inside the Parker to the 2.
And this is going to bring up Andrew Petrick, who has a single in this game. And here's a fly ball popped up right field side. And it's fair. It's fair. They're going to throw to second for try to get this play, the force out. They got him, but the game is tied. How about it for Woodstown? They complete the comeback to make it 8-8. So now there is 1 out after Kubat let it fall in right.
Get the ball.
All right.
Having to fight for softball. It's a pretty nice school. Like I go to Eastern High School. Yeah, we don't play you guys. Yeah, we went down a division, so we're not even we're not that good.
All right. We're gonna get ready to go in a second. All right.
All right, Piranha Leader, let's go.
Start of the third quarter here from Woodbury High School. The band is off, the teams are on, and we are ready to go here from a beautiful fall afternoon. There are not going to be many more days like this one. I think tomorrow is going to be 80, 81 down here, but after that, we'll go back to our normal, regularly scheduled October weather. But I will gladly take the 70-degree days as they come in. Some more out-of-town scoreboards from what we have right now. Camden Catholic leads Overbrook 33-0 in the first half. Woodstown leads Haddon Heights 10-0. That score still holds in the third quarter. All of the first 10 points of the game were scored in the first quarter and haven't had anything since. And then outside of that, not too much. We have been... It's been a really light Saturday. I think Rancocas Valley plays at home. I'm sorry, no, they don't. That's next week because they played on Thursday on the road. So, yeah, just not a lot of news. Because of the holiday, right? And that's what is great for us because it makes a DWB triple header weekend. We had Cherry Hill West and East on Thursday. Shalleck and Gloucester on Friday, and now we close out this weekend with Willingboro and Woodbury. We're getting ready to go. 24 more minutes will commence of West Jersey Football League action here from the Woodbury Creek Park. It has been a back-and-forth affair all night, 16-15, and Gonzalez sends it away, back to the 5. Taken in by Knighton to the left. He returned it from the 5. No whistles yet. Now we finally get the whistles at the 25-26. And Willingboro will get their first drive of the second half. As we get this party started here in Woodbury in the second half. Just a picturesque day. You do not get too many days like this in October, and a 70-degree clear day. No threat of rain, no threat of hurricane remnants coming through. We haven't had a rainy day in a long time. You know, I remember right around this time last year, we did a Saturday game between West Deptford and Salem before John Emmel took over the program at West Deptford. And it was the first game at Salem's new field that was actually on the high school grounds instead of at Walnut half a mile down the road. So it was a rainy day, and there were a lot of slips and slides on that Saturday on the grass. Here comes a breakaway from Scott. He will not slip. He will not slide. He is breaking away. And on the first play from scrimmage in the third quarter, Christopher Scott will go 74 yards. And the marquee touchdowns and the long distance touchdowns will still reign supreme as it is 21-16 in favor of Willingboro. For the third time tonight, they will reclaim the lead. No team has jumped out to a 2-score lead at any point today. And from the left foot, James Pemberton will send it away. It is a line drive, a low hanger, and it is good. His 8th extra point attempt of the season. He remains perfect, and it is 22-16. Willingboro 22, Woodbury 16. We'll stay on the air as just 23 seconds elapsed in the first play of the third quarter, and we're already rocking with a score for Willingboro. Man, what a play. So we did confirm with Tom McGurk on the sidelines that Marquise Taylor did score both touchdowns for the Herd, including both that 40-yard pass late in the second, and before that, the 87-yard touchdown pass from Holmes earlier in the second quarter. So he, by default, is up over 100 receiving yards today. He has been phenomenal for Woodbury, not only tonight, but throughout this entire season. Pemberton will let it fly. 11:37 left in the third. Willingboro leads 22-16 as rolled back to the 25. That is Woods. He will take himself out. A late hit. Woodbury wants a flag. They're not going to get it, and they'll take this in inside, right around midfield. They really wanted a flag on the sideline there for what they thought was a late hit. And Woodbury will take over on their first drive of the half from the, let's see where they spot this. It'll be right around midfield.
49
Yeah, it'll be at the 49. And that's the second drive of the day that has started for Woodbury past their own midfield line. So they have been blessed with good field position for a good chunk of these offensive drives as Holmes pump fakes and ends up taking it himself right back to the line of scrimmage, and that'll be second down. But this has been an explosive game on both sides. You know, it hasn't taken much for these guys to just take the money and run, you know, as the old Steve Miller song goes. But they like to have explosive plays. I have not seen a game in a long time with this many touchdowns of this distance. Taylor from 87, Taylor from 40, you know, Christopher Scott from, I believe it was 74. It's very impressive. You know, and I call back to first week of October with Florence and Cinnaminson and that game there, which, you know, look, that game had 4 touchdowns scored by Cinnaminson. The interesting stat of that Cinnaminson game was that the 4 touchdowns scored by Cinnaminson all included rushing or passing plays of 40 yards or more. But the touchdowns themselves were all scored within the 10-yard line for Cinnaminson. So they all had big plays, but none of them directly resulted in the end zone. That's a sack. Holmes did not get the pass off in time. Number 52, Joshua Amachukwu, picks up the sack.
And number 654 on the sack there. That's going to bring up 4th down.
And Moore also is credited as part of the sack brigade on that, as he scored that last touchdown for Willingboro before the half. Punt crew is out for Woodbury.
Willingboro number 3, Chris Scott.
Scott to return. Punt almost got blocked. Oh, that punt will just stall out in midair. It is going to go back to the 45, 44, and Willingboro will have excellent field position to start this drive. The pressure was on. There's not a whole lot you can say there. The pressure was on, and Woodbury had to adapt as best as they could. You know, punting under pressure is never a good thing to have. and Willingboro applied it perfectly, and as a direct result of that, they get very good field position to start this drive from the opposing 45. First and 10 for the Chimeras as their first play of the second half ended up going the distance for a 74-yard touchdown for Christopher Scott. Pass directly out of the shotgun to Knighton. Getting crossed up, and a hit there will set up a gain of about 9 or 10, and they will move the chains along for a Chimeras first down.
Let's do it off for Willingboro first down.
Another play for the Chimeras will be one of a positive gain. Second and mid-range for the Chimeras. Pitched out to the left. Scott gets wrestled to the ground, and he will stay in bounds, so the clock will run.
This is third down, third short here for Willingboro. Ball at the 25-yard line.
It'll be at the Woodbury 25, and it'll be third and short for the Chimeras as the whistles fly here. There'll be an official timeout. We've got a Woodbury player down on the far sideline. We will take a brief break as it is 22-16, Willingboro driving to the Woodbury 25.
Bianco Milano. David Davis. Snake Williams. How about Brazil Smith? Jaden Gaynor, All-American. Nevaeh Davis, All-American. Zaire Miller. Our sophomores, Jasmira Watts. Linda Johnson. Marley Coffey, All-American. Shayla Skipper. Sophia Thompson. And Siani Mallory. Our juniors, Jazir Brown, All-American. Rashard Woods. Melanie Estrada. Lana Jackson. Robert Kellum. Alicia Kelly Balks, All-American. All right, you can go ahead. We will hold our seniors until after the next play. Sorry about that.
After the injury timeout for Woodbury, here comes a handoff over the middle on third and short. Driving through, that'll be a first down for the Chimeras.
That's going to be good enough for a first down, I believe.
It'll be plenty good for a first down for Makai Cottle. As he drives through, another whistle, and another player down. This time it's a Willingboro player. We'll stay on the air. It's like a Willingboro lineman that was down. The Woodbury and Willingboro athletic staff attending to him. Don't forget, on Tuesday, October 15th, Dan Wilkins Broadcasting will be at the Sewell Complex for the Roadrunners as Roadrunner men's soccer faces off against the Atlantic Cape Buccaneers. 3 o'clock is the start time over at the Sewell Complex. 3 o'clock Tuesday, October 15th. If you're just joining us, we're currently in an injury timeout, but Willingboro leads 22-16. They are in the red zone after a first down. The ball will be spotted as play resumes at the 16.
Julia Cruz, sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen.
So that Willingboro player, luckily, will be lifted up and will be helped off the field, but walking on his own power. Number 71, Jaden House, receiving that assistance there as Willingboro inside the red zone.
I do apologize for that natural mission.
7:42 left in the third. And Willingboro has been driving proactively here and efficiently. As Taylor over the middle, that one almost went through the uprights, but instead ends up having a little too much on it, and it'll be an incompletion. I think that's a situation where it doesn't hurt to try. It doesn't hurt to, to try to put a little extra on it. You're in the red zone, might as well just cut out the middleman and go straight for the grand prize. Like we said, no team tonight on either side has jumped out to a lead of over one score. Second and 10 after the incompletion. Cottle has it. Diving forward to inside the 10-yard line.
It's going to bring that third down and about a yard here.
Third and 1. They did not get the first down on that play. Cottle looks like he got the first down here. And it should be first and goal here, and it will be first and goal for the Chimeras. Got 6:40 left in the third.
First and goal.
I don't know if this is an omen, but there is a fake bison head up here in the press box. Yes, the mascot just stopped by. Wanted to say hello. Handoff over the middle. Looks like that'll get snuffed out at the line of scrimmage. Ball was spotted at the 5, and now it will be a gain of 2. They'll go to the 3. So Willingboro on the doorstep of the end zone, looking to go up by multiple scores for the first time tonight. We've got everybody over the goal line. Touchdown, Willingboro. 28-16 as Willingboro will punch it through. And they once again extend their lead as the momentum is finally starting to swing more in Willingboro's direction. You know, it just didn't seem like either team had much momentum going for themselves. It just seemed to be an equal opportunity there. They went for 2. It was unsuccessful. We've got a late tussle in the end zone, and everybody will settle down. The score will remain 28-16 as Willingboro up by multiple scores for the first time tonight. 28-16 is the score with 5:52 left in the third quarter. We'll be right back.
So how things?
Willingboro goes for the onside. Woodbury traps it. Somebody, when we were on commercial break, was in the stand saying, watch out for the onside kick, and I guess they were right.
On the spot there, preventing the disaster.
That one was picked up by Isaiah Dunleavy, the senior. So Woodbury starts their drive from the 48. We've got the Bison in the booth with us. The Woodbury High School mascot. Now, I know that costume is has seen some years on it, seen some mileage, but you know, it's a beautiful day for some football, right? Mm-hmm. He went full mascot mode for that one. He put the hat on or the head on and everything.
Why do you think we're in a hero?
Exactly. Because bisons don't speak English. Or I guess bison would be the plural.
Give the Thomas not much to do. Awesome.
Made it look all nice and dapper. Nobody used it last year? Huh. The homecoming Bison. Here comes a pass that's going to be easily picked off by the Chimeras. We've got flags coming in after the interception. It is picked off by number 4. Not sure who number 4 is. We don't have that on our roster. And Willingboro will pick up the interception.
This is one Woodbury penalty decline, and I don't expect you stands.
The penalty was on Woodbury. The penalty is decline, and the interception will remain. As that is a big break for Willingboro. They've been wanting to extend this lead. They've kind of been in a back and forth, you know, gauntlet all night, all afternoon, and now the game is starting to slip into the hands of Willingboro. And if they can build up and if they can amass a lead this big at the end of the third quarter, that would certainly put Willingboro in good spirits going into the final 12 minutes. And they would need it. Like we said, they won the first 4 games of the season, but coming off of back-to-back losses, they need a good statement win. Handoff goes to Brendan Cox, a huge hit. That'll be second down. Dunleavy on the tackle. He's a little slow to get up. That'll be second down.
Second and 6 coming. Ball sent to the 37-yard line.
Ball's at the 37. It is second and 5 for Willingboro. For Willingboro, for the remainder of this 2024 campaign, they close it out with back-to-back home games versus Pleasantville, who's currently leading over Oakcrest, and Seneca. Here we go. Deep in the backfield. That'll be a sack. Actually, I'm sorry, not a sack, but a big loss. Got a little ahead of myself there. Number 65, Camille Carter. Pleasantville and Seneca close out the season for the Willingboro Chimeras, and then Woodbury has their homecoming game on October 19th versus Pennsgrove. That's a 10:30 a.m. start, and then they are on the road at Shalleck. 7 p.m. is the start time on October the 25th. So this is their second to last home game for the Herd. It is the last road game for the Chimeras. But both teams still 2 games on the regular season slate, as the regular season will close out in the last week of October. It is 3rd and long, 3rd and 12 from the 45. Taylor finds room, shuffles to his left, and that is a diving catch. Diving in front of him, he makes the catch. And Willingboro picks it up for a big break and a first down. They convert on 3rd and long. Pass was caught, I believe, by Quashawn Gooden. Didn't get a great look at who dove in front of that, but with 3 minutes left in the quarter, Willingboro is certainly not going to go home easily, and they are not going to go quietly. 1st and 10, handoff to Scott, spins to the left, and dives forward with Woodbury all over him. That'll be a gain of about 10, and I think that might be a first down. It will not, but it was darn close. It'll be 2nd and 1 after a 9-yard gain. And they are now inside the red zone at the 14. I mean, Willingboro went into the half down by 1. And what has been a topsy-turvy game is now finally starting to level out in favor of Willingboro. Here comes a handoff to Cottle. He breaks free. That's a touchdown. Chimeras, 14 yards out. All they needed was one breakaway on the line, and the Chimeras extend their lead to 34-16 and could make it 35 with an extra point. So 2 minutes and a chunk of change left in the third. And the Chimeras extend their lead again to 34-16. And we were just talking about at the halftime break how this game had been within one score all day. The 2-point conversion this time is good. And Willingboro, after failing in their first attempt, they break through. And it is a 36-16 lead. Willingboro and the Chimeras are up by 20 here over the Woodbury Thundering Herd on the road. We'll be right back after this.
Still plenty of refreshments to be had at the concession stand. Make sure you get up there and maybe you want hot dog in the sets. Like all Kimmy's 1 o'clock and stay on my cash.
Yeah.
All proceeds benefit. What are we doing after this?
I was going to have a soccer game, but they just canceled, so now I got nothing for the rest of the day.
Guys, 2 desk powers for the deal.
Just a whole bunch of student workers at our CSJ. They help out with it. So there's a whole bunch of different people there. Back in action here from Woodbury. Willingboro takes a 20-point lead, and this will immediately roll out of bounds. That might have been the quickest kicking out of bounds penalty that I've seen in a while. That immediately went out. And Woodbury will take over in a good position. 2:19 left in the third. It is 36-16 in favor of the Chimeras as they have jumped out to a big lead here in the third quarter. And they'll pick this one up in pretty good field position. This will go from the 45. Like we said, Woodbury's had good field position to start most of their drives. But Holmes has had 2 picks, and sometimes those drives start well and then fizzle out. They taper off at the end and just don't get the result that you want. Holmes immediately brings it out to Woods. He cuts to the right. He drives through, hit well at the 46, and he is across the 50. I think he's short by about a yard. And it will be 2nd and short for the Thundering Herd.
By the time you're at 6-yard line. Most
Holmes takes it himself. He will get across. It'll be a first down.
First and 10. Cowboy playing the 21. King Warren. First and 10, Woodbury. For the Willingboro 40-yard line.
First and 10. Handoff to Woods. That's not going to go anywhere. That's going to be a loss as Chimeras pick it up. They pick up where they left off, and they pick up a big loss there. Number 50, Jalen Johnson, brings up 2nd and 15 from the 45. And the workload for Woodbury will be intensified a little more. We have 30 seconds and counting left in the third quarter. Woodbury will probably run one more play off. They'll let the play clock run, and they'll run it here. Holmes is not going to get anywhere. That'll be another big loss of 6 yards. The Willingboro defense has been lights out, especially in the second and third quarters, and they have ramped up to production incredibly. As the sack recorded by number 25. We don't have a 25 on our roster, but it's a moot point anyway. A 20-point lead has been amassed. Willingboro led by 1 at the half. They now add on a boatload, and they lead 36-16 at the end of the third quarter. We'll be right back after this.
Let's get our cheerleaders.
And you didn't. First play of the fourth. On 3rd and 22, Holmes will scamper out of bounds. And a late flag coming in. Willingboro was not happy with that, as we could hear it from across the way. Be a personal foul on Willingboro. So Willingboro has built up a 20-point lead here going into the fourth quarter. And on the first play, on what was 3rd and 22, and Kenny Smith trying to get an explanation from the official. I mean, he's got his arms up, like, you know, why was that called? So, after the personal foul, it will remain 4th down. It's not the be-all, end-all, but it does help Woodbury, to say the least. And it will get them to 4th and 9, which is a lot more doable than 4th and 22, or whatever they were going to have after Holmes scampered out of bounds. Here we go, 4th and 9. We'll see what they've got, and we've got flags. They're going to say offsides on the defense there from the side judge, and it will be. So that's an even better position for Woodbury. This is what I call a tailwind drive, where things aren't really going exactly how you want them to, but sometimes you get a couple penalties that go your way, and they put you in a better position. That now puts them on the 34. So a personal foul and a offsides penalty back-to-back go from 3rd and 22 to 4th and 4. So Woodbury now needs a lot less than they did before to move those chains once again late in the 4th quarter. Holm from the shotgun, drops back. Offensive line does not get the job done, and the defense for Willingboro will show up with Mackay Cottle turning the ball over. And what was a great position for Woodbury to be in on 4th and mid-range falls a hair short, and Willingboro takes over again. And Willingboro's band certainly enjoying it here. I mean, that is a big band for a Group 2 school. That's a big band. We covered Willingboro football last year in a 57-19 win for the Chimeras over Delran. If I'm not mistaken, we'll see the Chimeras again versus Seneca in their regular season closer on Thursday the 24th. Dropping back. He's out to the, Taylor out to the left, gets shoved out of bounds. I believe he scampered out at around the 41-42. So a little earlier than I thought, actually, because they're going to spot this at the 37. So what seemed like a little bit more ends up being just a 2-yard gain. I mean, Willingboro shut out Salem 35-0 to open the season on the road. And they have only had 2 home games so far this year. The Pleasantville and Seneca games to close out the season will be their 3rd, 4th, and final. Cut to the left for Scott. And he rumbles out of bounds. By the way, for Woodbury, this is their 8th appearance on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. With a loss today, if the score holds, they would fall to 4-4 in 8 appearances on our network. No, it's a keeper that fooled even the public address announcer as Taylor stands up as the whistles blow. And that will be enough for a Chimeras first down. Yeah, I mean, this game was so topsy-turvy for the first half, and then Willingboro just took care of business in the 3rd quarter. You know, we're going to be talking a lot about that 3rd quarter in hindsight, because that was the quarter that changed. That was the sequence of events that really changed the outcome of this afternoon's game. It has just been all Willingboro since, and Woodbury has repeatedly hurt themselves with personal foul penalties. Not to mention that Willingboro has had a few of their own. But there's just been a lot of unnecessary penalties on Woodbury. Not unnecessary in the sense that it's incorrect, but it's unnecessary that they just shouldn't be done. They need to avoid those. Pass is caught for 5-ish yards to Brennan Cox. Who has a touchdown of his own in this 2024 season as a sophomore versus Salem in that 35-0 shutout from August 31st. Second and 3. Handoff, he tripped himself up, but I think this is enough for Makai Cottle, and they will move the chains for a Chimeras first down. But the Chimeras, 3 touchdowns in the third quarter. They were down 16-15 at the half, and then they just broke through and found every gap that they could to find the end zone. 21 points in the third quarter, and this would propel them to a 5-2 record if the score holds. Cottle breaks through, spins to the left. We've got a flag. We've got 2 flags coming in from 2 different angles. Face mask is what we're hearing. Defensive or offensive face mask? There we go. So that is a defensive face mask against Woodbury. And what did I say 2 minutes ago? Woodbury has just had lengthy, brutal penalties that, you know, that kind of says something about self-discipline, where they have to just kind of settle down and play cleaner football. There's been a handful of personal fouls that they've gotten, you know, caught up in, and a handful of face masks and this, that, and the other thing. As Taylor dumps his pass off, pass almost got bobbled, now cutting out to the left. He goes to the 5 or 6. It's caught by number 21.
Going to bring us 7 down.
So that was Harmon on the catch for Willingboro. He's listed as King Harmon is listed as number 35 on our NJ.com roster, so that changes things up a little bit. 8:22 and counting in the fourth quarter. Cottle to the right of Taylor. We'll see what they've got on 2nd and 5 from the 6-yard line. Cottle again stands up, dives forward, Willingboro touchdown again. They have scored 27 unanswered as they strike the end zone for the 4th time in the second half, with Woodbury not having any answer. And they're before the PAT, there was an injury timeout for Woodbury. That now makes it 42-16, Willingboro. That is a Woodbury player being attended to. By the way, a final score just came in from Camden, Eastside, and Winslow. The final score 58-0 in favor of Winslow. And the final from Garnet Country, Woodstown takes home the road victory 17-8 over Haddon Heights. Another Saturday final score coming in from Haddon Township. The Haddon Township Hawks defeated Mastery Camden 34-0. And the final score from Overbrook, Camden Catholic beat Overbrook 41-6. That is the final. Pemberton up. A slow kick, but it is good. And his PATs have been perfect tonight, except for the 2-point attempts, as 28 unanswered for the Chimeras. They are still on top heavily, 43-16. We'll be right back after this. 43-16. Willingboro has scored 28 unanswered here in the second half. They trailed by 1 at the halftime break. This is a squib that goes to the 25. Woodbury is going to get swallowed up at the 35, and everybody's sorting things out as Woodbury returns it to the 35. Listen to this Willingboro band. You can hear them from all the way over here. I mean, they are one of the biggest bands that I have seen in a while for a Group 2 school. Holmes on the run. It is caught by Young. He hangs onto it at the 49-50. And it will be a Woodbury first down. Holmes again immediately leaving the pocket, fires it over the middle. It is caught by Marquise Taylor with the silver back plate. He's going to find some room. He cuts to the left side. He will break away from the tackler, and those unanswered points will finally begin to be answered. Touchdown, Woodbury. Marquise Taylor, his 3rd touchdown of the day, and it comes from 50 yards out. It is his 3rd touchdown of the night and his 3rd of 40 yards or more. Coach Reagan, please get your stats into NJ.com as soon as possible because he might be a Player of the Month candidate right there. And we should note, from September, Egg Harbor Township's Noah Dawkins won September Player of the Month in his win over Deptford. 20 rushes, 127 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So we posted our top 10 September performances of the month. Just individual game performances, as Woodbury will go for 2. Solomon does not get it. And kind of an unusual football score. It doesn't roll off the tongue like 45-21 does, but we hold at 43-22. Willingboro over the Herd. We'll be right back after this. Returning to you live from here in Woodbury, Fabian Gonzalez just moved the tee from the right hash back to the center. I don't know why it was on the right hash in the first place.
Trying to pick them all sides.
I mean, I don't think that's any secret. They're going to kick it on sides here. If there was any more way to make it obvious you're going for an onside kick, I don't know. Willingboro picks it up. A high bouncer. Ends up being taken in by number 4 for the Chimeras. That will be... Actually, we don't have a number 4 on the roster. I apologize. But either way, First down, Willingboro from the 50. So straight away on that one. But still, I mean, this kind of reminds me of Demetrius Williams' game from week 0 versus Collingswood. He rushed for over 300 yards and 4 touchdowns in a game that his team lost. I don't think it was 300. I think it was somewhere around like 210, 220. But still, very impressive numbers. But his team barely just came up short. And that game was phenomenal because all 8 touchdowns in that game, which was a 30-26 final, were scored by 2 people. Caden Luby for Collingswood and Demetrius Williams for Clayton. He's breaking 3. That jersey got tugged about 3 yards, and he gets all the way up to the 22. The rush by number 4. William Torres on the rush, who also picked up that onside kick. They are once again on the doorstep of the red zone. They're at the 25, handoff to number 18, Xavier Terry Brown. One of the Woodbury linemen slow to get up. He will get up without too much issue. Number 78, James Noel. Second and 6. Another handoff to Terry Brown. He finds a little space and will be taken down around the 15. Maybe a little bit behind that. And it will be spotted at the 16. So Willingboro once again in the red zone, trying to make up for the lost ground after the touchdown to Taylor. Still on his feet on the QB keeper to Taylor. That goes for a first down. It will get them inside the 5, and it will be a very nice first and goal for the Chimeras. By the way, if the Chimeras score and get the extra point, here's a little factoid for you. They will be the first team in DWB football history to appear twice on our network and score 50 points in multiple games on our live stream network. And they will have done it in 2 for 2. I'm not talking about 10 football games here. I'm talking about literally they've been here twice, and they're about to score, or on the doorstep of scoring 50 for the second game in a row. Xavier Terry Brown. He is still on his feet. He's being shoved forward into the end zone. But who's got the ball? Look at Jason Solomon. The ball magically appeared in Woodbury's hands, and now they're back at the 50. This one's going back. This one's going to go to the distance. I don't see any flags. Did that just go for 100 yards? I think it did. I do not see any flags as Woodbury. Oh my goodness, Jason Solomon, have a day. He is the first man not named Taylor to score. Wow, that was good. 100 yards. That'll be good. And it is 43-28. The touchdown is official. Because every time I see a play like that, I'm thinking, all right, where's the flag? It's going to get called back. But no, that did not happen. And Woodbury, man, I really jinxed Willingboro there. I mean, I was like, oh, yeah, they're about to score 50. They're going to get into the end zone. And then they fumble on the goal line. The ball somehow lands in Jason Solomon's hands. And the Chimeras have allowed a touchdown of 100 yards. Mark Tribble and Chris Baker, get ready because that's going to be your non-offensive touchdown of the week right there. We are going to have a timeout called by the Herd. They burn their first of the second half. We'll be right back after this. Willingboro 43, Woodbury 28. You might want to rewind the tape after this PAT if you are so inclined, as Woodbury went 100 yards to the house for Jason Solomon. Holmes going for 2. They only had 9 guys on the field the first time. That is good for 2. He basically just squeaked it into the pylon, and it will count. It is a 13-point, 2-possession game, 43-30. Wow. 73 total points between these two teams tonight. An impressive showing on the offensive side for both teams. I mean, like we said, man, you know, the way we've seen it at the first half, it was 16-15 in favor of Woodbury. And then after the first quarter, after the third quarter, Willingboro scores 21, and we're thinking, oh, it's over. Nothing's going to come out of this. And then, how about that? .435 left in regulation, and what was a game where we were talking about a running clock scenario has now been turned on its head. It is still a 2-possession game in favor of Willingboro, but now you kind of can't trust it, because Woodbury has turned on the Jets offensively and defensively as Jason Solomon stripped the ball, stole it away from the Willingboro offense, and took it all the way to the house. I think Pat Surtain did that last week for the Broncos, if I recall correctly. Something of a similar nature, where he went 100 yards on a defensive return and went all the way to the house. Let's see what Gonzalez has. Again, no secret that this is an onside kick. Oh, hold on, Woodbury almost had it. Who's got it? Woodbury's got it. The kicker picked it up. Woodbury just recovered the onside kick. Are you kidding me? This game has taken, you know, when I said it was going to be topsy-turvy, that still applies. That still applies. Because now Willingboro is up here, and now we've hit the brakes, and we're going straight down. Here's Woodbury. This crowd is into it. We've got 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Holmes dumps off a pass. It is caught by Taylor. Taylor is going to be taken down short of the first. He's at the 41. And now they've got to play up-tempo offense basically from here on out unless they call a timeout. Bird have 2 timeouts remaining. Again, running up-tempo. Holmes lines a pass, caught by Solomon, who scored the last time. Diving forward with his shoulder. He gets in there. That's a first down. Oh, boy. You know, last night was almost a DWV Classic. Today might also be in the running. We're under 4 minutes in regulation. It is a 13-point game, 43-30. Caught. Taylor gets shoved down inside the red zone. Pemberton, and good thing for him that he was able to force that out of bounds. Although it was a first down, so I think it would have stopped anyway. It is a Herd first down. 3:36. And they're going to let it roll again. Not yet, but we'll see what they've got in the tank. Holmes, directly from the shotgun, immediately rolling out of the pocket. A leaping throw is picked off. Wow. And that was, I think, it was either Torres. Yeah, I think it was Torres who picked that one up. And wow, what was a stunning comeback attempt by Woodbury now has the holes poked in its sails. As the Herd give up their third interception of the day. And Tim Holmes, I mean, after that onside kick, this place was going nuts. And now things have simmered down a little bit. 3:30 left in the game. 43-30. Taylor handoff. Taylor made, and that will be short. They're inside the 10. If anything for Woodbury, they're giving Willingboro bad field position, and one bad snap, if it goes through the back of the end zone, we're talking about a safety. .250 and counting. Over the middle, Willingboro finds some room, no whistles yet, and he finally gets taken down to the ground. On 2nd and long, he gets a couple of yards to salvage. It'll be 3rd and mid-range.
Sound carry, tackled by John Solomon. And you can hear Woods. Trying to bring up 3rd down here. Lost skill movement.
They now have 2 minutes and 15 seconds left, and Woodbury will now need an 11th hour miracle to get back into this game. The cheerleaders and fans chanting for defense. They certainly need it. Another first down, and this game is most likely over. Taylor in the shotgun. He hands it off. It goes to Scott. He's got some room. He will get the first down. He glides forward, and that should do it. Well, not yet, but it will at least get Willingboro one step closer. As this crowd went from 100 to 0 in the span of 5 minutes. Man. And Willingboro, a big statement for them if they can hang on, because you know, winning 4 straight is a great thing, but then you crash down to earth, falling in back-to-back weeks, and now you can say you're back in the win column in this crossover game. You've got a good matchup versus Pleasantville that you know you're probably favored in, and then Seneca to close out the regular season, and a win would solidify Willingboro having an above 500 season this year that they did in 2023. Tugged at the jersey for Chris Scott. It'll be 2nd down. And we've got whistles and a Woodbury timeout. But, man, what a night for Willingboro as they lost their starting quarterback to St. Joe's Montvale. He transferred out. They lost their head coach to Burlington Township. It's not all that easy to come back from, or at least so easily come back from such a monumental change. You know, especially for a team that was very young last year, like Willingboro. You know, it's hard to find people that are willing to adjust to those different offensive philosophies. And, you know, everything that Stephen Everett had to offer. Everett is a great coach, and there's a reason why Burlington Township is 7-0. Part of it's because of Stephen Everett. Oh, they did lose last night. I apologize. But still, an excellent season for Burlington Township. I don't think that was in our score roundup. I think I glossed over that one, but still, the fact that they got as far as they have this season is very impressive for Stephen Everett. 2nd and mid-range. Taylor out to the left. It is caught, falling. And getting a couple of yards on that is number 5 for the Chimeras, Quashawn Gooden. And we are now at 93 seconds in the 4th. Woodbury looks like they will burn their final timeout. 43-30. How about that? It has been a topsy-turvy game. And even when Willingboro seemed like they had the game in their grasp, Woodbury gave them a very legitimate scare.
It's Woodbury's last time.
Yeah, I was going to say Woodbury just burned their final timeout.
And Willingboro have.
I think it's 7 months, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So this would not be the highest scoring football game in DWB history. You know who set that record? Willingboro and Delran last year, 57-19. That was on September the 14th in a game where Lamar Best threw 5 touchdowns as well. Here comes a rush over the middle. That should take care of things as they get the first down, and that will be the dagger that Willingboro needed, as after falling the last 2 weeks to Paul Sixth and Timber Creek, they now face a road matchup at Pleasantville and home to Seneca to close out the regular season. I mean, Willingboro, they are a resilient club, and after losing their head coach and losing their starting quarterback, it has been an incredible turnaround for this Chimeras team, as what will end up being the second highest scoring game. They will take an 8. This will be tied for the second highest scoring game in DWB football history. Last year at the NJSIAA crossover period, Riverside fell to Pennsgrove 51-22. That game also had 73 combined points. So Willingboro and Woodbury will meet at the 50, and in a resounding game, a very, very good game. Woodbury should not hold their heads low on this one because it is a 43-30 final. I mean, look, 21 points in the third quarter. If that doesn't happen, Woodbury wins this game. And they were up by 1 at the half. We did not know who was going to win for the longest time, and for the longest time, it was anybody's game. Willingboro took care of business, and they ended up hanging on, but not without a fight. Woodbury, that onside kick with a 43-30 game, I thought, man, Woodbury's going to get back in it. It's going to be a one-score game. And then that interception happened. That interception just took the life out of the crowd. Not that it was necessarily their fault, but still, a great game, and Woodbury will fall to 2-4 going into their big matchup next week versus Pennsgrove next week. And then they close out the season at Shallock on October the 25th. But a great game nonetheless, and these guys are going to have something fun on their hands, as it's going to be a fun couple of weeks up ahead here for us at DWB. When we have stats in, we'll let you know who the player of the game is. I mean, because it feels like the player of the game is Marquise Taylor, but his team lost. Receiving for over 150 yards, 3 touchdowns. It sounds great, but his team didn't win the game. And if Willingboro puts in their stats to NJ.com, we will gladly let you know who the player of the game is after this production is done. So from our entire crew here at GWB, our social media coordinators, Brandon McKagerland and Keely Curran, our graphics crew, Gavin Van Rel, Caleb Lane, and Liam Nolan, my producer, Cole McNeil, I'm Dan Wilkins. We will see you on Tuesday for men's soccer for the the Atlantic Cape Buccaneers and the RCSJ Roadrunners in men's soccer action, 3 o'clock on Tuesday. That'll be all for us tonight, but Willingboro takes home a 43-30 win here on Saturday morning action from the Woodbury Creek Park. Have a good one, folks. All right, let's start packing up. Yeah, I don't know what you were doing at the end there.